Morning, friends. It is like 5 a.m. if you're on Eastern Standard Time, but my kids are actually at a friend's house. So I am going to share today something that a few of you have asked me, which is how can you take a worksheet that you already have and use that on Google Slides and make it interactive. So I'm going to show you with this worksheet right here. Before I start, I want to say three important things. Number one, I'm going to show you how to do this. However, you need to ask for permission from the creator of the worksheet or activity that you're using. Of course, if it's something you created, you don't need to do that. But if you've bought it from Teachers Pay Teachers or something like that, you need to reach out to that person or check their policy and make sure that this is something you're allowed to do. Please don't just go ahead and do this because it may not be okay with them. And we want to respect other people's work and other people's copyright. That's number one. Number two, if you have purchased something from me and you want to do what I'm about to show you how to do it, you have 100% my permission to do that. Go for it. You may take any worksheet of mine that you purchased from me or that you've gotten for free and do what I'm about to show you to do. That's totally cool with me. The only thing that I ask is please do not post it publicly because it's, this is my work. It's something I've created and that would be not cool. And please don't share it with other teachers. It's for the use in your classroom. But if you have purchased activities, resources from me and they are not digital and you want to do what I'm about to show you to make them digital, go for it. In fact, show me. I'd love to see what you do. So, and we're going to get started. Before I jump into actually how to do this, though, I do want to show you, where is it? I have too many tabs open. Does anybody else live their life with way too many tabs open? I do want to show you, I am working really, really hard to digitize a lot of my resources. Some of them I'm adding the digital version if it's not a lot of work and it's just a few little tweaks right into the original. And some of them I'm creating a whole new resource because it's like completely different. But if you go to my store, which you can just go to shopprimaryparadise.com and it takes you right to my store, you go down to custom categories and you click on digital. It shows you any of my resources that have been created to be used digitally or I've added a digital component. So if there's a specific resource of mine that you're like, can you please make this digital, Martha? Please let me know. I am trying to get the ones that I think are the most helpful up there first, but I always will appreciate your thoughts and opinions. So, all right, back to how to make this digital. So this is just the PDF. I just opened the PDF of one of my Dab and Learn packs, which this I'm actually planning on making digital too. So if the easiest way to do this is I need to get this as a picture, probably it's protected. So probably you can't easily just save this as a picture. If it's not, you can go to File, go to Export to in Adobe, and then Image, and then click on PNG or JPEG, either one would work. And then you can save it. Now, it's not going to let me because I protected my PDFs, which is what I'm required to do because of the clip art that I use. It won't let me, but that's okay. Again, I'm giving you permission to do this with my resources. If it's someone else's resource, you have to make sure that it's okay with them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot this so I have it as a picture. So I am on a PC, so I use the snipping tool. If you're on a Mac, you'll have to Google how to screenshot. I don't know how to use a Mac. So I'm going to click New, and then I'm just going to, as close as I can to the size of the page, it's okay if it's off a little bit, screenshot this. And now I'm going to save it. Whoop. I'm going to save it. So now this is an image. Save. I'm going to just save it to my desktop, which is a mess. Please don't judge my desktop. And I'm going to call it Dab 5 because it's number 5, and I'm going to save it. Yes, you would have to do this for everyone, so I do realize that that's a pain, but once you make it one in Google Slides, you can easily share copies with your students, which is something I will share later this week. It's on my list. So this is now saved as an image. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. I'm going to go to my Google Drive I'm going to click on New, and I'm going to go to Google Slides. So I'm creating a new Google slide for this. And I'm going to delete that because I don't need any of that. I need to resize it. I believe that the size of that page is, I'm trying to think. It's a normal, and you can see this. I'm going to just double check because I know it's like a normal design page setup, and you can't see this. I have two screens. It's 10 by 7.5. So 7.5. Okay, so this should be the size of basically like a normal piece of paper. 10 by 7.5 is kind of typical, or 8.5 by 11. You can always change it if it like looks weird, then you can play around with it a little bit. But you want the back of the slide to be the same size as your picture. So I'm going to load a background. We've already seen how to do this, but a little bit of a refresher. Upload, browse, and I'm going to just go to my desktop, which is a mess again, but that's okay. And where did it go? Here it is. So I'm putting that as the background. That's step number 1. Well, I don't know, step number 2, 3. And then I'm done. This is my background. I can't move it. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to make this so my students can work on this. Now, I'm working to create my resources and make them digital because this is not going to be perfect, but that's okay. If you're in a bind and you need an activity, this is at least a little bit easier than recreating something. So I want my students to be able to dab or like dot these. I could add a picture. I do have clip art that looks like a bingo dabber dot. So I would just go to Insert, Image, Upload from Computer, and I have these dot dabbers that I got from Air Integration. She has really great digital pieces, so if you're looking for digital pieces. So maybe I want to give my students some options. So I'm going to give them blue and pink and green. So I'm going to select those, Insert. I need to resize them. So I'm just going to make them smaller so they're about the same size as those. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, and I showed you this yesterday, so I'm going to put these here so students can use them. And I'm going to copy them and make it so they have, I'm going to move them over so they're not touching. Make it so they have a bunch to use. I showed you guys how to do this yesterday. So I'm just going to make a few copies so they have lots of these dots. And don't worry if you don't have clip art, I'm also going to show you how you could do this with just a shape. So I need to line these up, so I'm going to select all. We did this yesterday. I want to align center and align middle, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this. Arrange, align center, and align middle. And I will say this video is going to be a little longer than the other ones because I'm going to show you this whole process. If you are like not interested in the thing I'm doing now and you're not watching it live, like when it's a recording, you can always definitely just skip ahead. So I have my, oops, these are what they're going to use to dab. So we have that. So these they can use for, and I have to do it because it's going to drive me, I'm going to group these all together. Control Alt G. And then these ones Control Alt G, and these ones Control Alt G, and then I'm gonna distribute them because it's gonna drive me crazy if they're not. Oops, I want to distribute them horizontally, then there's the same amount of space. And then I'm gonna ungroup them, so I'm gonna go to Arrange, Ungroup. So now I can just pull one. Okay, so these dabbers here are what my students would use to do this, and to do this. So we now have this, and this, okay? So all we really need to do is add text boxes. Now the only thing that's going to be tricky is this one here. So I'm going to show you, for a text box, I would just click on text box. I would draw a text box the same size, and then I like to put some kind of a placeholder there so that way they can see that there's a text box. So I would probably just put an X for all of them. So I'm going to make it larger so it's about the same size. Let's see. And nope, that's too big. So let's do, I really want it to fill up the whole space. I can change the font too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, yeah, there we go. So I aligned this so it's in the center vertically, and then I'm going to align it in the center that way. So they would just type it. And then I would do the same thing. I'm going to Control C and Control V. Same thing down here. And by the way, as I'm doing this, if you have any questions or you want to see something and you're watching me right now, feel free to comment because I'm happy to do that. And I'm going to move this to the left, and then they would just type here. So I'll just leave an X. You could write the word type. You could write the word number, whatever you want to do. So now for this, we have a few options here. You could just put this on top of it and have them type 5 on top of it, which again isn't the most smooth looking thing to do, but you know, it is what it is. You're limited again because this isn't designed for digital, which is why I've been taking my resources and specifically designing them for digital. What you could do is try to find, yeah, that's kind of similar. So try to find a font that is, you know, similar so it would line up. That's probably what I would do. The other option would be to just put a white box over that and not have them do anything there. Let's see. But this is another option. It's probably what you could do. I mean, again, it's not going to be perfect, but it's okay. I would probably just do something like this and have them type it on top of it. It's not exactly tracing, but it's okay. So when a student goes to do this now, they're basically done. That wasn't super hard, right? They would dab and count, so they would just move these here. 1, they could do all the same color, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, and then they would type the number. So they would write the number as 5, and then they would type the word here, F-I-V-E. And then they could type the word here again, F-I-V-E. I'd probably change that font. I don't love that font. Let's see. And what size is this? 75. Again, these are just things that, you know, to make it look a little nicer. And then for this, they would dab the number. So every time they see a 5, they're going to cover it up like this. And because I grouped a bunch of those on there, they have a lot that they can see. And then dab the word, same thing, 5, 5, 5. Now for this particular activity, this is on my list of activities to digitize, so I would change this so it was more interactive and conducive. But that's really it. It's not super complicated, especially for, I think, lower elementary things. Typically, you're going to need text boxes and maybe some clip art or shapes. Now, if you don't have these bingo dabbers, you could easily just, I'm going to delete these. I don't need these. You could easily just do shapes. That would be super simple. So you can do insert, shape, and just draw circles. So you want to draw a circle about the same size. And then you could change the color of the circle to whatever color you want. And then you would just do the same thing. Make a bunch of copies of them. Select them all, arrange them, and align them center, and align them middle. So if you don't have these, that's okay. But I will show you Erin. It's Erin. Her name is Erin, and then Tegration, like integration. She has some really great movable pieces. So I think if you search movable, it comes up in her search bar. Yep, digital pieces. She calls them digital pieces. But she has like some bundles, which I have all of her movable pieces because I think they're really great. So it just makes it a little easier. So you could do like there's letter tiles and things like that. And like I said yesterday, I am working on those templates for lots of different activities that should make it easier for you. So I'm gonna hopefully get those done in the next week. That's my plan, but I have 3 kids and I'm taking 2 IB classes, so we'll see. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any specific questions about how to make things interactive, go for it. Just one last reminder, please remember, if you are using someone else's worksheet, you have to ask their permission to make sure it's okay to do what I just showed you to do. I think most people are allowing it and are totally fine with it, but you just want to ask their permission. And number 2, if you are using mine, go for it. Please just don't share it with other people. I am working on all of these templates. If you have any templates you want, please let me know. I just realized it's on the wrong screen. I have 2 screens but I'm working on a ton of different templates and anything I can possibly think of so that you can easily create these things, and I'll have like all of the pieces and things you need on there, and then you can edit it to your heart's desire. So I hope that was helpful. This was a really long video, so if you watch this whole thing, you get a gold star for the day. If you have any questions about how to make activities or make a worksheet that you already have interactive like I just showed you, please drop comments below and I can make another video about that specific thing. If you have ideas of templates you would like me to create, please let me know as well, because I'm working on that and hope to have it in my TPT store probably in about a week. I'm hoping sooner, but life. And I probably will share maybe a few templates in here for free just because you guys are awesome. So have a great day. I will talk to you tomorrow. I don't remember what I'm sharing, but I do have some good stuff. Have a great day. Bye, friends.